George Zimmerman is in the headlines today after he allegedly got involved in a case of road rage in Florida. Now, an unidentified driver alleged that Zimmerman threatened to kill him, and he pulled up next to the driver in a truck and asked him why he was pointing his finger at him. And then at that point, he asked the driver, Zimmerman asked the driver, quote, "Do you know who I am? I'll fucking kill you."
Jesus.
Wow.
And at that point, the driver was so scared that he called the authorities. Now, he called 911, and Zimmerman left before police showed up to the scene. The following day, the guy is at work. I don't exactly know how Zimmerman knows where this guy works, but he showed up to his place of work, and the guy called 911 again. At that point, Zimmerman remained on the scene, and police can be seen in this next video talking to him. Take a look. So he comes out of the vehicle. They're talking to him. You can see
George?
That's George Zimmerman. You can see the cop reach into his pocket and take out a gun.
Which presumably Zimmerman told him was there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he knew right where to go.
Now, according to reports, police have confirmed that Zimmerman acknowledged to officers that he had exchanged words with the man the previous day.
Okay. So, a couple of things. First of all, this is not going to end well. This guy is out of control. He literally believes he's above the law. And when I saw this story, I thought, I couldn't quite believe it, that it's Zimmerman and he says, "Do you know who I am? I'll fucking kill you." Like, he's saying, "I'll kill you and I'll get away with it. I've done it before," is the implication, right? And so, but then you read, first of all, he acknowledges that he was involved in the incident. He doesn't acknowledge that he said that. He acknowledges that he was involved in the incident.
In a road rage
so it
incident,
did
yes.
happen. Okay, now exactly how it went down, well, it's a Zimmerman story, so you never know exactly how it went down, right? But remember, this is a pattern now. He had his estranged wife, he had threatened with a gun, and her father he threatened with a gun. And then
He
his
was
current
involved
girlfriend?
in a domestic violence incident with his current girlfriend. She dropped the charges. So a lot of people said, oh, she must have been making it up because she dropped the charges. But who knows why she dropped the charges? It's just weird that he keeps running into the same issue over and over again. It's usually an issue involving his rage and his violence. And when you continue to make excuses for him, he feels emboldened and he feels like he can do these things and that he's above the law. That's exactly what this particular situation, shows us.
Yeah, so I mean, it's twice. It's his estranged wife and his girlfriend, both times getting physical, threatening to harm them. Both times they've dropped the case. Who knows for what reason? That just doesn't happen twice to people who don't get involved in that situation.
Yeah.
The Orlando Sentinel is now in a story that really just came out, is reporting the guy's name, and it's really interesting. This guy named Matthew Apperson is the guy in question. From Winter Springs. He doesn't want to press charges either, so there'll be no arrest. It's hard to say what the charges would be either. I mean,
no,
Possibly threatening
killing
with a
him
deadly
is a
weapon.
clear charge. It's an
I got
assault.
it, but I mean, he's going to say, the one guy's going to say he said it, the other guy's going to say he didn't say it. It's going to be very tough.
Zimmerman
press
does
charges,
very
man.
well
This
with
guy's going to
journalists.
hurt somebody. Somebody press charges. That's 3 times he does it, and people don't press charges. The 4th time, it isn't going to be a threat.
They might be worried that he's going to kill them.
Yeah,
What's interesting,
Seems pretty likely.
What's really quick though about what's most is that again the Apperson said he didn't see any weapons in Zimmerman's truck, although presumably from this video we assume that he probably had that same weapon. But police discovered that Apperson was carrying a gun. He has a concealed weapons permit. And I just like it that that guy had a concealed weapons permit. I hate the fact that he had a concealed weapons permit, but he had this confrontation, and his thought was, I'm going to leave. I'm going to get out of this situation.
I'm
gonna call the police.
That's a responsible
That's right.
gun owner.
That's right, yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
But one day, Zimmerman is going to run into another Zimmerman.
That's right. He
And
almost
then
did.
things are
He
going to get
almost-
really, really bad.
He almost did.
I know, in this case, the guy had a gun, but at least he's a smart guy, responsible
Yeah, that's right,
guy,
yeah.
right? And so, look, by the way, he's also been pulled over by the cops 3 times. Now, without any context, you say, no big deal, right? But within the context of the 3 other cases, and then he got questioned by police for voluntarily patrolling a Florida gun shop. No, this guy's out there looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Because he thinks, what difference does it make? I can do anything I want.
Or he's got, I suspect it might be more complicated than that he's got some weird death wish, and it didn't work out last time. It didn't. He actually ended up killing the guy.
I think he's got some sort of hero complex in his head. Like he thinks he's a hero. I don't know if that's...
Or he thinks that will redeem him if he does something heroic.
Like if he actually kills a bad guy instead of a kid.
Plus, I think the most important thing is the one I said right after he got to the first incident after the trial. He's like, where's that spotlight? Where's that spotlight? He's just looking for it to get hungry for it.
Which is why that initial story of the car crash and the pulling the family from a car, which both of us thought that day, no way, no way, no way, no way. I don't know what happened there, except we never heard about it again. Because
So that I'm going to connect those two stories here, because Anna said something that really triggered something for me. How did he know, or somebody said, how did he know where the guy worked, right?
Yeah.
That makes me think he took down his license plate and he's got a buddy on the force,
probably got more
right?
than one.
And so he put that together. By the way, what you didn't see from that earlier story, Ben, where he went and rescued the people, is turns out he had somebody in the force who was feeding him emergencies so he can show up at the scene.
Amazing.
Okay.
I mean, right, I just know there's more to it, right?
Yeah,
There's
he
the-
showed up at 5 in the morning, all equipped. He had a fire hydrant in his car.
Fire extinguisher.
I'm sorry, fire extinguisher
He had
in
a
his car.
hydrant, too.
Imagine if he had a hydrant, you're like, wait a minute, now this looks really questionable. Okay, so he's obviously got idiots inside some police force trying to help him do these insane things. At a minimum, he's going to OJ himself.
Yeah.
And get back into, and he's going to find a way to get in jail, okay? But that's at a minimum. This is not going to end well.
Yeah, it's multiple stories a year now where he's running into trouble. He's definitely going to run into trouble where it's going to end badly. There's no question about that.
Pulled a shotgun on his girlfriend, threatened her with a shotgun. Like, you know, that's, I don't know what's worse, punching your fiance out in an elevator or threatening somebody with a shotgun, but both of those people probably should be in prison.
According to a lot of people in the country, neither one of those
Neither
is
were, they're
bad.
both fine. They're both okay.
Actually, the only point that I want to make is somewhat related to that, about how awful people in this country are. Just to throw it back to the Trayvon Martin thing, who we haven't mentioned at this point. Trayvon Martin did like this in a photo once, and that was enough for millions and millions of Americans to say he's a thug who deserved to die. George Zimmerman has been involved in multiple instances of armed violence and threats against other people, and I guarantee they would still defend him today.
Yeah.
Those guys who
Great
call Trayvon a thug, after seeing this story about how he tells a guy, I'm going to fucking kill you, and you know who I am, meaning I'm going to get away with it, they're not going to call him a thug. Not one of them is going to call him a thug, and you know it.